I welcome you once again to this channel where literature is made fun, easy, simple and meaningful. This is a channel where literature is explained in detail. Here we are going to be explaining, and we focus on the genres of literature. Here on this channel we talk about poetry, how we answer poetry, how we answer drama, and how we answer novels. So on this channel we also do clear analysis of the books or the literature set books on the Ugandan literature syllabus. It all happens here. So if you don't want to miss out on analysis of poetry, drama and novels or prose, make sure to follow, subscribe and comment. Now in this video, today's video, I'm going to be reading for you or giving you examples of some of the scenario questions a teacher can ask the students. So I'm going to be reading for you some examples of the scenario questions in the new curriculum, and maybe and how they ask them. So if you're a teacher, you can pick a leaf from here. If you're a teacher of literature, you can pick a leaf from here. And if you are a student, maybe you're a student and you want to try out some questions, and then maybe you take it to your teacher for correction or for marking, you can pick some scenarios from here. Now, some scenario essay questions. Actually, I'm going to mainly focus on this new curriculum scenario essay questions for literature, section B. So the first scenario question is number 1. Authors of books usually choose different ideas to write about from different aspects, and most of these ideas are reflected in our societies where we stay. Now that is the scenario. Authors of books usually choose different ideas to write about from different aspects, and most of these ideas are reflected in our societies where we stay. Now that is a scenario. Now the task is, referring to any set book you have studied on the course, explain how those ideas are reflected in your society. Now this scenario question specifically requires you to answer relevance. How relevant is that book that you have read on the syllabus? How relevant is that set book to your society where you stay? So this first scenario question is asking for relevance. And make sure to follow and subscribe, because we shall be talking about how we answer these essay questions. How must we answer the essay questions, and what do they require us to write in exams? So if you do not want to miss and learn how we answer the essay questions in literature in section B, make sure to follow, subscribe and comment. So that was the first scenario essay question in literature. Number 2, another sample essay question is number 2. So the first one will require you to write about relevance. How relevant is that set book that you have studied to your society? Then number 2, writers usually write about different experiences that their characters go through. They do so in order to cause impact on our lives. I repeat, writers usually write about different experiences that their characters go through. They do so in order to cause impact on our lives. Task: referring to any set book you have studied on the course, explain what you learned from it. Referring to any set book you have studied on the course, explain what you learned from it. So now, this question is requiring us to write about lessons. So if you want to know how we answer relevance, lesson questions, themes, questions in essay, section B, make sure to follow and subscribe, because we're going to learn a lot from this channel. Then the next one is number 3. During a class presentation, your teacher asked you to critically analyze one of the plays you have studied on the course. So this was ably done and it led to a better understanding of the play. Task: present the key ideas raised by the playwright. Now this question specifically is for drama, for plays, because they have said critically analyze one of the plays you have studied on the course. So now they have asked you in the task, present the key ideas raised by the playwright. Now this question is focusing on themes. It's asking you to answer about the themes in the set book that you have studied about. Then another scenario question is characters in literary works behave differently depending on the situations before them. Readers get to know their traits by what they do, say, and what other characters say about them. Task: referring to a set book you have studied on the course, explain the behavior of the main character. Let me repeat this scenario question for section B, literature. Essay: characters in literary works behave differently depending on the situations before them. Readers get to know their traits by what they say, by what they do, and what other characters say about them. Now that is the scenario, and the task is referring to a set book you have studied on the course. Explain the behavior of the main character. So now that question is requiring us to explain the character traits of the main character in that set book you have studied with your teacher. So this scenario is asking about the character traits of the main person. If it is the Heartsuthers, you can choose the main actors in the book. If it is Betrayal in the City, you can choose the main person in the book, either Jasper. If it is there is that book, Aminata. We have Aminata. We have this book called Weep Not Child. We have Weep Not Child on the syllabus. We have Rebel Without a Gun. So if they ask you such a question, you're supposed to choose the main character in the book who is the protagonist. And then you talk about him or her. You explain his or her character traits. So another scenario essay question in section B, literature, is writers use every character they present in their literary works for a reason. I repeat, this is the next scenario question. Writers use every character they present in their literary works for a reason. Task: referring to a set book you have studied on the course, explain the role of the main character. So now that is a role question. Then lastly, the last scenario question that I came up with is writers choose specific tools to spice up and present their ideas in their literary works. I repeat, the last scenario that I came up with, writers choose specific tools to spice up and present their ideas in their literary works. Task: present the techniques used by the writer in a set book you have studied on the course. Now this last scenario question is focusing on the techniques. And by the way, you should follow, subscribe and comment, because we are going to learn how do we answer questions. If they ask you an essay question about techniques, how do we answer? If they ask you about theme questions, essay, how do you answer? If they ask you about character questions, themes, characters, plot development, how do we answer all these questions on themes, characters, techniques, relevance, lessons? Because the way we answer every aspect is different. Then we answer character traits.